Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Welcome to the Israel Brief, brought to you by Lay of the Land. I'm Raylene Marks, and together, let's take a look at those top stories making headlines. Space lasers? I kid you not. Yesterday, Israel's Defense Ministry announced that they had successfully tested a laser that will intercept and destroy any projectiles in the form of low-range rockets, mortars, and UAVs. Those are unmanned aerial vehicles, or drones as they are commonly known as. Now, the Army successfully tested the system, which is put aboard a aircraft, and it was able to take out every single UAV that was tested, which is a huge game changer for the way we engage with our enemies in this part of the world. Why is it a game changer? People want to know. Well, as we saw last month with the conflagration with Gaza, it wasn't just rockets that were fired from the strip into Israel that were very, very ably intercepted by our incredible Iron Dome systems, but also mortars and drones, which may not be intercepted by the Iron Dome. However, this new laser does allow for that, and it is also quite cost effective. And this is really, really important because, as we've seen over the last year or so, an increase of drones sent from Syria or Iraq through the Iranians into Israeli sovereign territory that have been shot down, and we saw those drones coming from Gaza as well. In fact, somebody coined the term suicide drones because their intention was to kill as many possible, as well as mortars. Mortars are not intercepted by the Iron Dome system and cause a tremendous amount of damage, and in many cases have actually killed Israeli citizens. So this is a welcome development, more cost effective than our current systems, and hopefully will be rolled out soon. So that's Israel putting our enemies on notice that whatever you send our way, we will find the way to intercept it. And it's quite ironic because former US President Ronald Reagan many years ago spoke about Star Wars. He spoke about how this would happen in outer space, but also here on Earth, a new kind of warfare. And we're really seeing this playing out in the Middle East. We can't forget those iconic images that we saw in the media during the Operation Guardians of the Wall. In other news, very, very welcome announcement from the United Kingdom that they will be joining Australia, the United States, and Canada in boycotting the 20th anniversary of the UN Conference of Racism that is due to take place later this year. Now, if we go back 20 years ago, this conference, which was also held in September of that year in Durban in South Africa, very, very the image of that was very, very specific, because if you're going to launch an absolute tirade against Jews and the state of Israel with the central charge of accusing Israel of apartheid, where else should you do it than in Durban or in the country of South Africa, where apartheid was part of the country's history and it was defeated in South Africa. This is the conference that put the boycott, divestment and sanctions movement firmly on the map, and also we had not seen rhetoric in the media and distributed on what was then growing social media, the likes of which we saw then. So the UK, in their announcement, said they are very concerned about the conference becoming, again, another festival of anti-Semitic hate, and they are concerned about the type of rhetoric that will be said during this conference. If we go back again to 2001, we remember that the United States and several other countries, including, of course, Israel, walked out of the conference because instead of focusing on issues around racism, something that is very important, it focused specifically on Israel, made Israel the world's villain, and descended into anti-Semitic chaos. So we hope that many more countries will join these 4 countries in boycotting this event. And our final story, I thought we didn't have to talk about it, but there has been a slight uptick in coronavirus infections in Israel. Now, the health ministry are saying to people, keep calm. There is no reason to panic, but we have seen a slight increase in the amount of infections, largely as a result of individuals who have returned from abroad and have not quarantined. Two such cases were in the city of Binyamina, which has been put under strict restrictions, and right here where I am in Modi'in, where quite a number of school children have been placed in quarantine. And while we have no cause for alarm yet, our mayor has decided that the kids in schools need to re-adopt the mask mandate. They have to wear their masks indoors. For the rest of us, it seems pretty okay. But what the government are introducing is stricter coronavirus screening at the airport, as well as tough coronavirus quarantine monitoring for those who are supposed to be keeping to their quarantine. This is pretty serious. We all want to see the end of this pandemic soon. So those are our top stories making headlines in Israel. Don't forget to check out our content online at www.layoftheland.online. We've got two fascinating articles, one that takes a look at Juneteenth and how it was born or legislated, and another which is an open letter to UCT, who have not dealt with the vicious anti-Semitic comments from one of their professors. What am I talking about? You check it out on our website, www.layoftheland.online. Also, don't forget to like us, follow us, share our content from Facebook, and you can even comment there. We love it when you do. We're at Lottel Site, that's at Lottel Site. Give us that like and follow. We're on YouTube. Our channel is called The Israel Brief, and all you have to do is click on that red subscribe button. And of course, don't forget to follow and interact with us on Twitter at Lay of the Land 5. That's at Lay of the Land with the digit 5. And with that, I'm Rolene Marks. These are your top stories. This is also the Israel Brief, and we'll catch each other again tomorrow.